let me go ahead and just kind of wait. Just wait a little bit, because it doesn't have to start immediately, you know? I don't know how your guys' days have gone. It's been a month since I've streamed. Very sorry about that. I mean, it's not really like anyone watches anyways, but eh. I'm just gonna wait a second. But I saw this game on the PlayStation Network store and I was like, oh my god, vampires, hot. You know, let's play a game about vampires. I think it'll be enjoyable. This is a lot, like if you haven't heard of it, it's, let me actually go check my settings real quick. Text size, let's do like a medium. Typing speed will be standard, dialogue options in the middle. Language is English. Yes. See, I'm worried that the music might be copyright, but I don't know if that, I think it should be fine. I'll just turn it down. Where you can like barely hear it. You know? Because maybe it won't be caught over my voice. Who knows? Let me move my mic up actually so I'm not super loud. Yeah, sorry I haven't streamed. I have had zero motivation to continue, so... Send the link out again. Just see if anyone watches. I keep apologizing for not having streamed. We're just gonna... I mean, if only I had like a face cam or something. If I had a face cam, I think this would be a lot more entertaining. But I don't. That might be why people don't watch me, to be honest. Because I would say I'm pretty entertaining. But also, it's me. Like, you know, I don't know, actually. I'm rambling, waiting for people to join. I don't want to start until there's someone in here. Little someone. Let me drink some coffee. I just want people to join. God, it'd be so nice if they joined. My phone is entangled. I'm sure someone will join soon. Oh, hey, look, there's a person. Hello, person. I don't know who you are yet, actually. Never mind. Come on. Okay. It's been 5 minutes. I feel like I can start, but ugh. One person to stay. That's all I ask. I genuinely... Okay. Hello. I'm just waiting because I want more people. I just wanted someone to join before I started playing. I've been rambling. Or not. I just want to start. You know what? Fuck it. They can come in later. Choose my clan. Buha. The rabble, rebel against power and rage against authority. Seemingly insignificant man with significant ideals will join their ranks tonight. She's hot. Vintru, the aristocratic blue buds, embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. And then Torador, the divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst stagnant undeath. Tormented artists will join their ranks tonight. Huh. Who? See, the tortured artist really calls to me, but then that thing against authority, that also calls to me, you know? I mean, I could always just go through and play all three, you know? But is it gonna make me play a guy? Because I don't want to play a guy. My name is Sapphic, yeah. What if you can, like, customize your character or something? That'd be cool. If you could, like, customize your character. Okay. New York taught me to believe in faith. Had you asked me about fate, can I, like, scroll back up? Thank you. Had you asked me about fate when I was a human, I would have told you it's superstitious bullshit, that we were all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see it glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was 9th generation kindred, just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouthed braggart and see them all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was about fate, a message saying, you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me just her amusing objects. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have the meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job, well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach, think it's impossible to get away with unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities. But in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. The music is pounding and your pulse is keeping pace. This is one of those nights that makes you feel alive, even though it started with you feeling dead. Sorry, my cat scared me. First came the messy breakup, then the realization you have nobody to talk about it, how much it sucked. Still, you decided to roll with the punches. One Facebook search for local events later and you found it just the thing for your malaise. However you pronounce that. A short subway ride, and you find yourself at the club just outside Dumbo. Not a fancy one, mind you, more like a slightly refurbished warehouse, but hey, at least the drinks are cheap. The DJ seems to really know his shit, too, alternating between cutting-edge industrial techno and classic Detroit cloud pleasers, expertly feeling out everyone's mood. An hour passes, then 2. Usually, you'd feel awkward coming to a place like this alone, but tonight you'd find something soothing in the joining crowd, blending in even as you allow to take the beat to take over. Sweat, yours and other people's, soak through your shirt and pants, ew, in a matter of minutes. A thought pops into your head from the outside. The fully packed club seemed like a stuffy, smelly nightmare, but here, in the thick of it, it becomes exhilarating. And you're okay. There's this Latina chick whose curves are accentuated by the light dress clinging to her body, and she keeps bumping into you. Something tells you it only seems incidental. This game seems to be a little more sexual than I thought. Yeah, it's a good night. You wish it could last forever, because you know all too well what the next day holds. You just enough money to pay the rent and keep living in your overpriced shithole of an apartment. And with Jessica moving out, it'll all be coming out of your pocket. You run some quick calculations in your head and immediately come to regret that you did. Never mind. You spot the Latina again. She is now next to another guy, hitting it off. Your chance of not going to bed alone, gone. Just like that. Okay. Your mood temporarily shot down. You leave the dance floor and stumble your way to the filthy bathroom. You take a look in the mirror and start to wash your face obsessively. Feels like episode, over and over again. What's with the scary music? A voice from the past echoes in your mind. Jessica. This was the craziest fucking day of my life. God, I need a smoke. Pass me a light? What do you mean? Cops took the lighter? There's one in your mouth. Just shut the hell up. This is not you. Not anymore. Oh, fuck off. This is so like you. Acting like some sort of Clint Eastwood wannabe when I really, really need you to open up. You think you're so impressing people with this tough guy act? Fuck you. I know how broken you really are. You need therapy. Yeah, now that sounds like the Jessica of today. You raise your head and look in the mirror. You try to smile, but all you can muster is a self-pitying grin. Grin. And there she is, the Latina from before. Ooh, she's hot. She says you look like you need a drink. You hesitate for a second or two and then blurt out a surprisingly enthusiastic, yeah. You start to talk. It quickly becomes evident that she's into politics and you are eager to please. You might be a corporate drone, but you spend a lot of evenings reading theory, actual theory, not bastardized Twitter cliff notes, and organizing for all manners and causes online. The status quo sucks. There must be something better, she agrees. You seem to subscribe to the same progressive political theories, have compatible ideas about the DSA's missteps, even watch the same YouTube channels. Your goals are aligned. Sorry. She's a bit more radical than you would have guessed. You attended a few rallies, been to a few protests, but this girl sounded like she broke her share of faces and kicked more than a couple cops in the nuts over her activist career. Her zeal is infectious. She taps into that pent-up anger that you didn't know you had. The noisy club stops working for you both, so you hit the streets. Just as you're leaving, the DJ starts playing All the Things She Said by Acronym. Of course, you chuckle to yourself, trying not to slip into a bad headspace. She chuckles along with you. It's chilly outside, but soon enough, you find yourself invested into listening to the girl's voice to care about anything else. You realize you've been holding hands for a while. The subway car is empty, save for a stoic, middle-aged couple and a drunk staring intently at his own feet. Plenty of room to stretch out, and yet she sits right next to you. You can feel her thigh pressing into yours, breath on the side of your neck. Maybe it's the booze talking, but you distinctly hear your voice asking if she'd like to crash at your place. I've got a better idea, she says. At this point, you're down for anything as long as you spend just a few more minutes with her. Looking at the guy at the front desk, he hands her a key. Still holding your hand, the woman leads you up the stairs. I hope she bites me. A sticky floor. The room you end up is almost comically stereotypical, complete with flaking paint and the sticky floor. Not that it matters, though, the moment you step through the door, she's on you. Interesting. Should I read this out loud? Okay. Before you know it, you feel the rickety bed pressing against your back. I don't want to read this. I'll leave it on to make sure you guys can read it. But I'm not gonna read this part out loud. Okay. Ooh, darkness. The taste of liquid fire and smoke on your tongue. Her voice saying, "Sorry, kid, I did what I had to do to leave this city in one piece, but don't worry. With my blood and your principles, you're gonna do just fine." Whoop. Vampires. She slams the motel room door behind her as she leaves. You lie helpless on the soiled pungent mattress for some time. Minutes? Hours? Before you can focus to try and piece together your evening. It hits you. The big hunger. It grips you by the throat and makes your insides shrivel in terror and all-encompassing emptiness that throws you on all fours. You crawl for a while, squirm on the floor in sunder and pain, then you jump to your feet and burst out the door. You black out. This isn't the room you saw when you last closed your eyes. Somebody curses at you, a small naked buff dude holding a short leather whip. Wow, what a goofy motherfucker. He throws a punch. He yells out several slurs. He hits you in the jaw. You black out again. What is this? The guy isn't moving anymore. There's blood on his neck. There's blood on his arms. There's blood on the floor. There's blood everywhere. Wow, whoever did this is one sick puppy. You realize you're sitting on top of his corpse. You hear a whimper. Someone else is there, a woman. Her arms are tied to the bed frame, an eye mask over her face, red marks on her back. This time you see it happening. You want it to stop, but can't. She almost manages to get a scream out, but it dies in her throat as you bite into the side of her neck. You drink. Blood. You're drinking blood. You can swear you feel her life force escaping her body, entering yours. Suddenly terrified, you tear away from her, but she's not moving. But she's breathing. There's barely a mark on her neck. The guy on the floor, though. Ooh. Oh, this is so cruel. You double over in a spasm, realizing what you did. You feel like throwing up, but can only gag. Panic sets in, and another realization dawns on you. Your heart is not beating. You put 2 fingers on your wrist, but feel no pulse. Same thing on your neck, nothing. There is no breath coming out of your mouth. You have to get out, get someone to call an ambulance, for yourself at least. Probably too late for the dude on the floor. Did you really kill him? What a mess. Look up. The door to the room is ajar. A tall, handsome, broad-shouldered man fills the entire frame. He brushes an imaginary speck of dirt off his perfectly tailored suit. Call 911! Hey man, you gotta help me. Call 911. It's so funny because why do I have to look like that? So you get arrested and reported as a jail suicide within the next 24 hours? Because that's the way this plays out, son. He surveys the room, not moving an inch from where he's standing. He shakes his head in mock concern. Murder, assault. It's 25 to life, if you're lucky. But since you're not, it's a death sentence. He takes a glance at his expensive-looking watch. Lucky for you, it's been a slow night. Otherwise, I might not have gotten here in time. Come on, the sun comes up in a few hours. You don't want to be here when it does. I need a doctor. Screw the sun, man. I need a doctor. A doctor will do you about as good as an undertaker at this point. The man approaches you and starts talking. His tone remains unnaturally calm. Oddly enough, you find it both soothing and slightly unnerving. Now, listen to me. I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you. And going by experience, they tend to fall into 2 categories. First, there are the smart ones who carefully obey my every word and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guy who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got their destination in one piece. In fact, most of them never reached their destination at all. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given this speech before, likely dozens of times. Hello? Never mind, they left. So you see, while I genuinely consider myself pretty smart, I'm also a Mets fan. It's one of my true weaknesses, one that inspired me to come up with a 3-strike system when dealing with pups like you. If you get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times and you're out. No excuses, no forgiveness, no mercy. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually, he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. Three strikes and you're out. Say, ooh. Say, I understand, sir. Now. Oh my god! This game! Okay. You've never been so eager to bend the knee to anyone, but this is something else. This man's very presence instills a primal fear in your heart. I'm having a hard time deciding. Should I listen? Yeah. I understand, sir. Glad we have an understanding. Moving on. Is there anyone you want to inform of your current situation? Tell them you're alright? He flashes his bangs briefly, and for some reason the sight sends chills down your spine. There is something very wrong with him. Someone closest to you? Lie out your ass, my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend. I mean, yeah. Jessica, my ex-girlfriend, she kinda hates my guts, but yeah, I suppose it would be her. The stranger gives you a puzzled look and decides to prod further. Oops, I accidentally skipped that. This time, something resembling a look of pity, he turns his eyes to the corpse on the floor. When it rains, it pours, I suppose. Well, if you'd like to ruin her day and let you know you're alright, give me her phone number. I'll have someone take care of it. Discreetly, of course. You hand him your smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you. This will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. From this point on, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under, and you will be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You're forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both you and them. He interrupts his monotone recitation and stares deep into your eyes. So unless you want your girlfriend to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I'd suggest you cooperate. He proudly displays his fangs again. You put Jess in danger. God damn it. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. His words are meant to imply otherwise, but by now it's obvious he hates your guts as much as you hate this. He's itching for a fight, and you're almost willing to oblige. Alright, I think that's enough lecturing for today. We're on a bit of a schedule here. Now, I don't need to hurt you, but I can do so in the blink of an eye. Just so that we're clear, I have the authority to end you right here, right now. This is not an idle threat, so are you going to play along, or do we have to do it the hard way? Well, I mean, he's been pretty nice to me so far. So why not? You weigh your chances, but it doesn't look promising. The guy's fit, determined, and looks like he means business. You, on the other hand, are confused, exhausted, and on the verge of a panic attack. Yeah, fine. I'll go with you. Why do I look like that? I don't want to look like that. He's so ugly. He's so ugly. He almost looks disappointed. A wise decision. Follow me, please, and close the door behind you. You take one final look at the woman who's just coming to, at the body on the ground. This is fucked, absolutely fucked. You pull the handle and close the door. The man leads you downstairs. You contemplate signaling the bald guy at the front desk, but he's too busy watching some 90s action flick on a small, ancient-looking television. Hold on, I gotta copy the link sent to my friend. You hear a dejected Jean-Claude Van Damme say, "I just want to go home," as you're walking by. Your would-be kidnapper stops by the door and addresses you before opening it. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, as soon as he's opening the door, I'm making a run for it. Maybe I can outrun him. I'll save you the trouble. You can't. You can either get inside my car and I'll get you where you need to be, or you can try something stupid that you'll regret later. Do I make myself clear? Clear as day. Day, huh? He opens the door just as a black Cadillac Escalade parked right outside the building. After you? I don't want to, like, do something stupid. You know, like, I don't... Go inside the car and make a run for it. I'm stuck, bro. Like, I want to be stupid because I want to be entertaining, but like... okay, let's just do this for now. And we'll do stupid things later. Following the stranger's instructions, you make your way to the car and get in the passenger seat. The door locks behind you. Inside, the Cadillac's almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets in the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without another word. This is the afterlife, isn't it? You're not entirely wrong, but it's not what you think. He weighs his next words carefully. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not in the mood to wax poetic about the state you're in or roll into tonight's events. Just remember, if you want to survive the next 24 hours, you'll have to play along. Man, this is bullshit. Why does everything have to be a fucking riddle? Well, riddle me this. Who's gonna get their teeth smashed into their brain if he doesn't shut up? Understand this for your own good. Times being what they are, you should consider yourself lucky. You drive in silence for about 20 more minutes. As exhaustion catches up with you, the streetlight fades into a blur. Blur? Blur. Eventually, the car stops and the doors open. You emerge from your dreamlike state and find yourself in some kind of underground parking garage. You two are the only ones here. The man points at a nearby door. Go on in, make yourself comfortable. If you get hungry again, take a look in the fridge. I'll pick you up tomorrow and you'll get your answers. Behind the door is a small room, no windows, just a simple bed and a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. A small fridge is humming away in the corner, accompanied by a rattling AC fan in the wall. I guess I got no choice but to trust you. It took you this long to figure it out? Remember when I said you were lucky? I meant it. See, my job is to get rid of problems, but I'm not always this polite about it. This time, I was specifically told to mind my manners. So believe me when I tell you, considering how the night could have turned out, being stuck in here for a night is a really good deal. Now get in, or I'll throw you in. We're just gonna walk inside the room. Are you— what? Really? I'm being kept in here? What? You step inside, the stranger nods. Good night. He closes the door behind you. It looks sturdy, but he's locking it. You notice claw marks all over. Looks like some previous guests weren't satisfied with their stay. You decide not to dwell on it and check in the fridge. There's a single plastic bag here. You really think it's tomato soup? Filled with a red liquid, no label. Tomato soup? You feel sick to your stomach. Best to leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress in a metal frame. You can't help but look exactly like the one back at the hotel with the bound woman. Oh right, you killed a man tonight. Or did you? Maybe none of this is real. Maybe it's all an elaborate prank. The girl at the club, Jess, might have put up to it. The tall guy's clearly on it too. Now he's back with them and they're all laughing their asses off. You don't know what to think anymore. Your mind races, but you're too tired to keep going. Finally, you tense up one last time before drifting away into oblivion. You wake up. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel like quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. The room is unchanged, the lamp is still on, the AC is still rattling, the refrigerator is still humming. You take a look at your watch, it's almost 9 p.m. You slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you are certain about one thing. You are hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. It needs to start somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and the back of your head. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look. If it is soup, then the color and texture is off. You pull the cork out and take a whiff. You recognize the smell immediately. Why would it be soup? Why would it be soup? Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint, and you remember some situation in the past where you found it nauseating, but now it's almost— no, not almost. It is enticing. Yeah. Let's be entertaining. It feels wrong, but right now there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. To hell with it. You pour a bit of liquid in your mouth. It tastes bland, reminds you of cheap supermarket juice. Just enough to flavor to register as what it claims to be on the box, but nothing like the real thing. Nothing like what you had the last time. Ew. I hate swallowing sound effects. You swallow it. Somehow, you don't feel sick. In a weird, messed up way, you can't help but think it feels nourishing. Ew. Gross. You take a few more sips, and then just like another one, suck the bag a little more. Eventually, you find that you've emptied it entirely. All. You look at the pressed into the side of the bag, 450 milliliters of it. Even with its blandness, you still feel like having more. You realize your body longs for that intoxicating high you felt when an image of that corpse crosses your mind, causing you to wince. What have you become? You try to piece your thoughts together, make sense of it all, when you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So, a tamed hawk, maybe. Good evening. Slept well? He notices the discarded, emptied bag. I see you had a bit of a snack. This is fucked up. It is. A snack? Dude, that was fucking blood. What the fuck did you do to me? Are you part of some rich people's child-eating cult? Instead of the replying, the stranger just gives you a pitiful look. Come on, we've got places to be. Just outside of the door of a cramped-up room you've spent the day in, the man motions to it, politely, but with a stern look on his face. We're just gonna get inside the car, guys. I'm trusting you here, man. I'm touched. Sincerely. You take the back seat again, the door's locked, the stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time, you keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so you can hear a bit of traffic humming in the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked all right. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the cars looks sturdy too. There's nothing left to do but wait. But you realize you didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize that you're hungry. No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and the back of the head. You already said this. You try to extract some information out of the man behind the wheel, but you realize you'd prefer to bask in the afterglow of your last meal. You wouldn't have expected it, but you spend the rest of your trip lost in your thoughts. A lot of them concern blood. It takes another 20 minutes or so to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that is much certain. Queens, maybe. After me, no sudden movements, please. Also, sorry, I can only do so many voices. I have a high voice. You approach a nice-looking building called the Art Hole. Two large men in suits flank the door on both sides and then give you a companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by a stranger guiding you, you walk inside. The gallery's full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. About 24 faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guest's attention. The visitors are well dressed for the most parts, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the wall, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. Hold on, my cat. eyes turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. The glances are varied. You see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you, as if wishing to appraise your worth. The last time you felt like this was at your previous job interview. It was like being a piece of livestock, inspected from all sides for any imperfection, so your wage could be haggled down. It was dehumanizing and made you feel dirty. When they called you the next day to offer the job, you declined. Even when you're a nobody, you become even less if you trade away your dignity for a paycheck. The memory makes you feel warmer inside even now, although the state of your bank account never did. Good evening, Kadir, and to you, child. The noble, cold voice takes out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery, a crowd of strangers, you being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, miss. You are addressing the Prince of New York City, Helen Panhard, child of Masquerade. Thank you, my sheriff, but I am capable of introducing myself. She is somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess her great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people. That much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction into unlife was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. Wait, I'm confused. What are you saying? I think it shall become clear momentarily. You are pushed headfirst into a world you have not realized the existence of. But before you can partake in it, there needs to be a trial. You are about to be judged by the court of New York City. Kadir, please tell us how you found the fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court? Prince? Is this some kind of secret society make-believe? A trusted informant who has been chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. The hunger made him a savage prostitute and his client in a Bronx brothel belonging to one of the ministry. I have spoken to Sansarik about this and to make sure it'll blow over. Regarding the fledgling himself, surprisingly enough, he offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. I was pleased to not have forced his compliance. We had a quick chat, but wishing to appear here post-haste, I urged him to join me, which he did without struggle. Again, a pleasant departure from my usual routine. His thirst partially slaked with the bagged blood we kept in the safe house, we had a pleasant enough drive here. The story ends with us arriving at El Lyceum tonight. All eyes are on you again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded-looking face. Who is she, you wonder? Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior and will take you into consideration later. She turns her attention to you. First, there is a matter of your sire. The person you brought to Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? A Latino woman, very radical, unless she convincingly lied to me. She was special, extraordinary. She had fire, conviction, temper. She seduced me easily. In fact, made me think she wanted me. I fell for it, and now I'm here. It felt awkward talking in a room full of strangers about what seemed like a random one-night stand at the time. Not to mention that even though the Latina made an impression on you for sure, her face is already fading from your mind. You realize she never even told you her name. Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not, or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. That chick, she rented our room at the motel. Talked to the receptionist. He might know something about her. Unlikely, but regardless, thank you for that observation. I'll investigate this later. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty. This wasn't my fault, though. I didn't do anything. This wasn't my fault. It's not my fault. I shouldn't be killed for this. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I will consult my council on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all that talk of traditions and councils was when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie? Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. We all know what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stain your hands tonight, after all. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. He steps out of the room the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow. Well then, fledgling, you're in quite the pickle. What do you mean? I still don't understand what my crime is here. Poor thing. This really isn't your fault, but if you want to get out of here in one piece, you need to understand one crucial fact that seems to have eluded your grasp. Last night, you became a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yes, I am well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The beings called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness, and not the right color either. You're trying to come up with something insensible to say, but you're drawing blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night. There's no denying it, and your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still. A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice keeps saying, what the fuck, on repeat. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down, as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and your deference to Kadir will work in your favor. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. Suppose I say yes, what happens then? You survive, hopefully, or not, depending on the prince's whim. I'm giving you a chance, not a guarantee. But if you take me as your patron, I will be this guide in this new reality, and you will assist me like a child would a sire. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from your side room. It seems the prince and the council are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard, fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and he observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla, gathered here tonight, I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. She briefly addresses you. I want you to know this was not an easy decision to make. For your part, you have not done anything to earn your ire. I do feel a genuine sorrow for what must be done. We are keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. There is no place for tolerating dissent when our existence is under constant threat, although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a rather plainly dressed, shy-looking man whose skin has somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence in the progeny, that must be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. Sure, my internet isn't fucking up. Okay. It's super delayed, like it's awful delayed. Oh my god. Hold on. I wish my Wi-Fi wouldn't do this. Yes, I happen to think they might hold a potential that would be unfortunate to waste. I do expect their full cooperation, of course. Whispers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two, a hushed, just behead the fucker, from some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence. I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt commend them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that it's responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I am willing to guide this fledgling, and add a valuable ally to our sect at this time of need, yes. But I will be to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. I will remain silent on this. I feel like if I speak, I will die. It's clear the tensions are high. It feels surreal to listen to strangers discussing your death or second death, apparently, and keeping silent. Your decide is not for the best to let Sophie handle this alone and not interject. You have no idea how to handle this eyes wide shut crowd. The prince looks at you as if weighing your worth. She takes a good measure of the room before she speaks again. I shall grant you what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley, as the clan of Rose will become this fledgling patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Mrs. Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla, substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley? Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? Sapphire, Prince. She nods. Welcome to Camarilla, Sapphire. Now, this evening proved to be one more eventful than I anticipated, but with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Kadir, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties. Of course, Prince. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched, you will be judged, and if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. Well, Sapphire, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierges, who have now reappeared in the shower room to refill the guest glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches a carafe with the red liquid. He pours it in 2 tall glasses. It's blood again, that much is clear. You're in 2 minds about drinking it, but the memory of last night's hunger makes you wince. You take a tentative sip. Drinking blood out of wine glasses? So fancy. A few hours ago, but wait, oh my god. You expect it's the same blandness you tasted a few hours ago, but this one you can actually savor. It's smoky and warm, making you think of the cozy cabin in the woods. It does strike you as a strange image for your mind to jump to when drinking human blood, but it is what it is. You never tasted anything like it. Do you like it? I think NYC caterers have very bourgeois ideas about what good blood should taste like. Apologies, you must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. How much do I have to drink? Where do I get blood? What will I do? Honestly, I'll probably go insane if you refuse to drink, to be honest. Who knows? How much? I feel this hunger constantly. How much do I have to drink to make it go away? The sad reality is, it will never go away, no matter how much you drink. You will always be tempted to have more, unless you consume wholly, to the last drop, paying for temporary relief with their life. But that is one way road to losing your humanity. Best start by taking a single sip from the vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more satiating than anything they serve in a fancy glass, but it can make you more voracious. I wonder what this dictionary thing is. They're teaching me vocabulary words. Oh my god, voice crack. I've been speaking for a long time. Hold on. Have a drink. As for how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky, and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. Tomorrow, I shall take you hunting, and we will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you happy for now. What do you mean by hunting? That's obvious. That is so obvious. The beast you mentioned, is that a metaphor, or... Oh, it's quite real. Although not strictly in a physical sense, it lives in all of us. Our nature and hunger manifest. Those more religious among us connect it to the biblical Cain, the rage of the first murderer, cursed by God, seething in all his descendants. I, however, am a child of enlightenment. Not that it makes me struggle any easier. I have the way be wary of the other kindred in this city and beyond. Individual kindred each have a unique relationship with their beast. What yours is going to be remains to be seen. But you do need to keep it under control. Each outburst endangers you, not just you, but also the Masquerade. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear, "You know that the gallery is now almost empty." I'm being told that the gallery is about to close, but we still have a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come on. Aren't jalopies like really shitty cars? Like, those are like really shitty cars. Okay. Once we leave the gallery, I'm gonna end because I've been talking for a straight hour. Narrating is hard. The smile she puts on you, remember the way you felt with the Latina. It's not arousing though, more like magnetic. You find it hard to argue. Even though you're still suspicious of her authority over you, her charm momentarily wins you over. Okay. I feel like this isn't a good place to stop though. Oh, well, why did she say jalopy if it's a Rolls Royce? Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions, the chief among them in the Masquerade. As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts, so the vast majority of kind we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that the one television about a vampire angel still popular? I think I know what they're talking about. You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little more dejected than before. Our clandestine helps ways to remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. What's the worst that could happen if you're a vampire? I'm sure that you can defeat any threat that comes your way. It would surely make things easier if we could. Unfortunately for us, there are plenty of things that harm us. Chief among them are sunlight and fire. Both of you will burn you to ash. That's why we rest for during the day. You felt it, I'm sure. That it's more like being dead than being dormant, but we have no choice. We are night dwellers, but day sleepers. Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the water is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze, which, under the right circumstances, can often be the same thing. There's a reason to have somebody like my trusted driver, Gregory? What kind of names are these? Making sure you have safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight. Am I right in thinking that having a human friend or two is necessary then? Or at least useful? In moderation, and best if they don't know your true nature. Also, I would say that subordinates are useful, but friends, I haven't had one of those for many years now. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage friendships. Alliances of convenience to be broken at a whim? Yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. Friends must remain a distant priority at best for us to maintain the masquerade and thrive as the years pass. With age comes authority, with it comes influence and power, if you wish to reach them. She seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as a piece after a piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you believe you're on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what place in this new reality should be. I'm tired of reading. I'm so tired of reading right now, but I feel like I can't stop. I mean, I feel like I need to get to a better place to stop, but genuinely, I can't. my throat hurts. Actually, no. Okay. Stop being a little bitch. Let's do it. The car stops. You're in the city in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings? So we'll get to the apartment that I stay in, and then we'll end it. My own apartment, neat. I get my own apartment? That's neat. Consider it the first of many gifts that I'm able to grant in exchange for loyalty. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to the room 209. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here because my throat hurts. I've been talking straight for like an hour and a half. I might actually stream Skyrim later, but I don't know if I still have my save. And if I don't still have my save, I'm gonna cry. Anyways, I hope you all have a good night or day wherever you are when you're watching this or whatever. Thanks for anyone who tuned in, you know, from time to time. Goodbye.